In the Ohio mock trial program, attorneys and witnesses are represented by two separate yet equal schools, along with the advisors who help teach the case and the coordinators and volunteers who make the day possible. A lack of civility is considered especially heinous. Students are part of an elite squad who demonstrate respect for the court and for each other. These are their stories.
Hello, I'm Blair Stoneridge of DOG News, sniffing out your top stories in the city of Buckeye.
And I'm Brooke Meadows. In local news this evening, we have the rags to riches tale of Buckeye's own Emerson Jones. The point guard made headlines 2 years ago when he successfully sued the Buckeye Juvenile Correctional Institute for injuries he sustained while in detention.
Emerson Money Jones lived up to his nickname this weekend, signing a 5-year contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers for a cool $154 million. That's $1 million more than the previous record set by point guard Mike Conley in July.
Sounds like we're in the wrong business, Blair. For our top story, in a bizarre twist of events, Trillium High School in downtown Buckeye is still reeling from the untimely death of I.M Veritas, beloved principal for over 15 years. As previously reported, Principal Veritas died of a non-preventable brain aneurysm just minutes after former Governor Pat Justice spoke at a rousing school assembly.
Sources say that Principal Veritas and Governor Justice have had bad blood in the past and were arguing behind closed doors in the principal's office. Budding journalist and Trillium High School student Andy Rather claimed in a report for CAT News to hear the argument in the office. Rather said that Governor Justice left the school in a hurry, and soon after, School Secretary Mickey Harris found Principal Veritas dead at his desk.
So unfortunate.
Tragic indeed, Brooke. Our thoughts are with the Veritas family. In the aftermath of the event, it seems our rival station CAT News may have let the cat out of the bag a bit prematurely. Our story tonight follows the recent filing of a defamation suit brought by Governor Justice against CAT News and intern Andy Rather.
The trouble for the station started when Andy Rather, intern for CAT News, posted a series of tweets insinuating that Governor Justice may have committed foul play in the death of Principal Veritas. One of the posts used a hashtag which was retweeted over 70,000 times.
Rather was interviewed on the air for the 5 p.m. CAT News broadcast and provided an eyewitness account to the incident, reporting that the principal had in fact been murdered.
CAT News has since retracted the story on its website, but Governor Justice is alleging that the story spelled the end of their bid for re-election. CAT News maintains that because Andy Rather was the only eyewitness to step forward, the station needed to interview the student on the air.
Newly elected Jerry Block will be inaugurated next month, while Governor Justice and CAT News have their day in court. Legal correspondent John Shue has a breakdown of what to expect when trial begins next month. John?
Thanks, Blair. The First Amendment rights of the media are on trial in this fascinating civil case. Governor Pat Justice has filed suit against CAT News alleging defamation. In the complaint filed earlier this month, Governor Justice alleges that the story aired by CAT News was false and published with reckless disregard for the truth, otherwise known as actual malice, and was the proximate cause of his or her loss in the gubernatorial election. In a statement released by CAT News shortly after the complaint was filed, the station argues that the story was a constitutionally protected statement of opinion, that the statements were presented without malice, and that the story cannot be seen as the proximate cause of the electoral loss. Court filings indicate that the case will be presented as a bench trial, and that the plaintiff, Governor Justice, must prove with clear and convincing evidence that the station is liable for defamation. If the defendant is found liable for defamation, the station will be responsible for damages, which would be determined in a later hearing. Blair, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not going to be an easy case to decide. There are a lot of factors at play here. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, John. You weren't kidding. This could honestly go either way. Chief Legal Analyst Kara Keating will now tell us about the witnesses expected to be called by both sides.
Thank you, Blair. This is definitely going to be a close trial. It's going to come down to which side of the story the judge believes. The plaintiff will have the opportunity to call 2 of the following 3 witnesses. Governor Pat Justice is the plaintiff in this case. The governor will speak about a long career in public service and will provide background about the history of the relationship with Principal Veritas. Governor Justice will provide an account of what happened on the day in question and explain how the reporting by CAT News impacted the outcome of the election and their political career generally. Mickey Harris is the school secretary at Trillium High School and discovered the body of Principal Veritas. Harris will provide an account of what transpired on the day of the assembly from their point of view and the immediate aftermath of discovering Veritas. Harris will also testify to the impact of the news story, which was so compelling that Harris even doubted their own knowledge of the incident. Dr. Sam Jackson is a professor at Buckeye State University and a polling expert with more than 20 years of experience. Dr. Jackson will testify that based on indicators such as approval ratings, stance on popular issues, and justice running as an incumbent, the governor was favored to win the election. Dr. Jackson will also testify that because CAT news story aired so close to Election Day, it had a particularly negative impact on the governor's image and ultimately cost justice the election. The defense will call two of the following witnesses. Anderson, or Andy Rather, is a senior at Trillium High School and an intern at CAT News. Andy will testify about their own journalism background and the interim training program at CAT News. Andy will testify to witnessing a heated exchange between Principal Veritas and Governor Justice, and to seeing Governor Justice flee the scene immediately before the principal was found dead. Andy will also describe the tweets posted to CAT News Twitter feed and the on-camera interview in which Governor Justice's involvement was discussed. Cameron Carter is a news executive with CAT News and will testify to the integrity and standards of CAT News. Carter will discuss the training procedures in place to prevent false statements from being reported by the station, the circumstances surrounding the story on Governor Justice's involvement, and will speak about attempts to retract the story. Reese Murphy is a statistical analyst for the Buckeye News Network and host of a television show about polling trends and politics. Murphy will testify that the polling results fell within the margin of error during the campaign cycle, indicating there is no definitive statistical proof that Governor Justice was ahead in the polls before the incident. Back to you, Blair and Brooke.
Thank you, Kara. We'll be following the story closely to keep you informed.
Well, that's all we have for you here at DOG News. You stay classy, fellow Buckeyes.